So, welcome again to the event. My name is John Paul Sansone. I'm an account executive here at POS Portal. I'm going to be introducing Jim Fink of RapidAdvance shortly. He's the Director of Strategic Partnerships over there. But really, from a housekeeping perspective, again, we're going to be taking questions, but they're going to be not sort of spoken aloud, but chatted in. So at any point during the event today, feel free to chat them into the box on the right-hand side, and we will make sure that near the end of the event, which will probably wrap up in about 30 or 40 minutes, we will get to all those questions, whether they're P2 related, RapidAdvance related, even POS Portal related, really anything at all we're happy to talk to. And in the interest of time, we'll make sure that everyone's out of here definitely before the hour mark. We'll do our best to make sure that happens. So without further ado, let's get it going here. So real quick, again, I know the focus today is about RapidAdvance and talking about the new integration that we built with them within P2, which is the CRM solution that we built here at POS Portal. But for those on the line, I saw a lot of the registrants and really a lot of the attendees today. Many of you are likely familiar with POS Portal. If you're not, just some high-level, I guess, just points to highlight. We're not an ISO, we're not a processor. We've been around I think now going on 15 years, since we're in 2015. We've got multiple lines of business, so many of you may be familiar with us from the context of buying hardware or maybe having your deployment services tackled, again, by our team here. We've also recently moved into kind of the mobile point of sale arena. So we're not doing anything at all, obviously, from a processing standpoint or selling software to merchants, but we are involved today in deploying hardware and doing a number of innovative things there. From a software perspective, again, there likely are a number of P2 CRM clients on the call today, so first off, welcome. But yeah, we have experience. Really, we've brought a solution to the industry about 14, 15 years ago, a merchant acquiring specific solution, and about, 6 to 7, 8 years ago, we identified Salesforce.com, who hopefully many of you are familiar with them. They're the global leader in CRM technology and these solutions. We brought that same sort of platform now, or platform really, to our customers, and we iterated and we created a solution that we call P2. So that was kind of how we got involved in the space and where we're at today. We've been at market with the solution now for the past 3 years. We've got about 110, 115 active clients out there. So we have a lot of software experience as well. Many of our clients, as you guys are, I'm sure many of you familiar with, we're kind of that single contact for them, so we are directly handling their implementation, whatever customization and configuration needs to occur, even though many of them are empowered to do that themselves. We have in-house support that we provide. We're taking on, all the sort of billing functions. So, at a really high level, clients don't have to interact directly with Salesforce. They're able to do that directly with the POS Portal folks that we have here. And the image on the right, that's from our headquarters here in Sacramento, but we've also got 2 warehouses, one in Sacramento and one in Louisville, Kentucky on the East Coast. So, yeah, we're not certainly a fly-by-night operation. We've been around for a long time, and again, that's probably nothing new for most of the folks on the line. And yeah, this is just some of our clients. Many I think of you on the call today probably see your logo within there. So again, we've had a lot of success the last 3 years, and we're really excited today to be partnering with RapidAdvance. And the context here is that we at POS Portal about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, within the confines of P2 as a product of ours, we developed our own what you would call app portal or app sort of marketplace. So for those on the line that are familiar with Salesforce's App Exchange, where there's about 2,500 different third-party solutions out there that add additional value to just vanilla Salesforce. You think about an email marketing solution, a dialer integration, some other cool widget that's going to add additional value to that kind of CRM experience. We also developed something, and again, many of those solutions will likely work with P2 as well, but we also developed our own what we call App Portal, which is sort of our own marketplace where we've now partnered with many of the leading industry-specific organizations out there. So you think about RapidAdvance, they're our first cash advance partner, and these are just 2 others, but there's I think 9 or 10 total there today. Control Scan for PCI compliance. We have a relationship with Forte or ACH Direct as they were formerly known, and some other kind of solutions that we built out. So we're extremely excited to be partnered today with RapidAdvance. We're excited to bring that opportunity to our ISO community and channel, and if there are folks on the line today that whether or not P2 makes sense for you, we get that, but RapidAdvance, we strongly recommend you take a look at their programs and their partnership opportunities. There's a lot of great resources that they're bringing to this ISO and really agent community as well today. So with that said, I'm going to hand it off to Jim. I'm happy to introduce him. We've been working closely the last few months and not only getting the integration in place, but really, in the spirit of the partnership, we're happy to talk to, again, not only our P2 community, but really all of the folks out there that POS Portal's been marketing to and communicating with over the last few years. So with that said, I'm going to introduce Jim Fink. Again, he's the Director of Strategic Partnerships at RapidAdvance. And Jim, let me make you the presenter so you can share your screen. And you should be all set.
John Paul, whatever happened there, it actually took it off my screen.
Let's see. Well, why don't we do this? Since you can see my screen, just give me a little heads up when you would like me to advance the slide, and we'll take it on that way.
That's perfect. Well, first I want to say thank you for everyone attending. Some people it is the afternoon, and a few folks I'm sure it's in the morning, but we do appreciate this. We're very excited about the partnership. John Paul, thank you. We have worked very closely, again, in the spirit of this to kind of get this to the stage it is now. And I know there's folks on the call that are P2 clients, which the integration we're excited to talk about. But as John Paul said, there's certainly folks that may be utilizing POS Portal for other services, and our products and programs run the gamut. We support acquirers, ISOs, MSPs, small, large, and the sole goal is to provide a service to your customers, to provide convenient, frictionless financing solutions. So if you're not a P2 client, we certainly love to talk to you about the different programs we're going to talk about today. You can advance, please. So if you're not familiar with RapidAdvance, I'm going to give you just some background. We were founded in 2005. The company's based in Bethesda, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. Last year, well, I shouldn't say last year, in 2013, we were acquired by a company, Rockbridge Growth Equity. It was exciting times for us. To give you an idea, Rockbridge is part of a family of companies known as Rock Ventures, and they have interests in the Cleveland Cavaliers, Quicken Loans, Fathead, Rock Connections. These are some brand names that most of us have heard of in the marketplace. The exciting thing for us is, having that relationship now, we've been able to access some best practices, a lot of their technology platforms, and almost unlimited resources. So for us to kind of leapfrog with technology where I think you need to be if you're going to advance in the financial services space, we're very excited about that acquisition of a new partner. We are an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We currently are the only company in our space that's endorsed by the National Small Business Association. And you will see much more of that endorsement and partnership within Q1, because we're really going to promote that. Most of our customers, at least in the acquiring community, is your traditional small to medium-sized businesses. So this endorsement is very exciting to us. Our focus has always been in the kind of small business owner, lower middle market, again, which is the sweet spot of what the traditional ISO MSP agent is targeting. You can advance that, please. Give you some just some KPIs of what we're all about. So we've now breached $700 million in financing to small businesses to date. That accustomed 31,000 loans to these small business and medium-sized businesses. 75%, and this is an interesting statistic, especially if you're not familiar with this type of financing. 75% of eligible customers of ours renew, meaning that they use this working capital for what their specific needs are, and then once they're paid it off, or sometimes before they've paid it off, if there's another need, they actually renew. And this is done, if you can see, 3 transactions for your average customer in 1.5 years. So this financing is really providing a need and a service to these small businesses that really don't have many outlets today to find capital in the marketplace. Another thing that we do, which many of our competitors don't do, we leverage national advertising. We spent over $2 million last year in national advertising, and that's going to continue and actually grow this year, again, to build the brand for us and for our partners that work with us, and just, again, get the concept of specialty financing out in the marketplace. Next slide, please. This gives you an idea of kind of the radio and TV national media that we work with. Some of you may have seen our ads. Some may like our commercials, some may not. ESPN, Fox News, CNN, NFL Network, MSNBC, Fox Business. You'll also see us out on YouTube. So there's other outlets that we use, again, trying to promote the company and kind of build the brand. This slide right here is just to give folks an idea of the typical customer, at least that we see, but this is more the typical customer that utilizes this type of financing. If you look at it, 60% of the business we write is your traditional retail and restaurant. And then you can kind of see by the graph, where it rolls down to. What we are seeing is a big jump in health services. These are doctor's offices, dentist offices, eye doctors. This segment of the marketplace, as they are waiting for their insurance premiums to be paid, actually I'm sure refunds to be paid by the insurance companies, they're always finding themselves needing some type of cash for equipment, for payroll, whatever it may be. So these are not the doctors that are part of these very large management healthcare systems, but there's a tremendous amount of independent doctors out there that are starting to utilize this type of financing. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. This slide basically shows typical customer challenges. So when you're out there in the marketplace, this is what we typically hear from our customers, why they need working capital and they need it quickly. Obviously the unexpected opportunity that may come up. Cash flow timing. A lot of small businesses, unfortunately, are not predicting their cash flow and preparing for it, so they come up with shortfalls. They're healthy businesses, but you should not prepare for a specific event. Expansion or growth is another big one, and finally inventory buildup. What we see here, we have a lot of customers, even customers that provide government contracts, that all of a sudden get awarded a contract, and now to build up their inventory for whatever the product is to fulfill that. And this type of financing, the working capital solutions, is filling a nice niche because they can get the cash very quickly. Timing is everything. Within 7 days, almost from start to finish, an account can be funded. If anybody is familiar with traditional financing, which through banks and whatnot, which most of us are, or SBA loans, that process is sometimes very arduous. It certainly doesn't happen within a week. They're looking for collateral. In a lot of situations where some merchants may not qualify for that, have the collateral, again, they turn to working capital, kind of revenue-based financing, which we're talking about today. Most of our merchants are applicants are less than $100,000 in need. I will say in kind of the ISO world, the world that we're in, the average is about $30,000 to $40,000 is what our typical loan is for these folks, or merchant cash advance. Very little paperwork. And what we've seen over the last few years, especially since the financial crisis, small businesses, and these are a few surveys, are very discouraged because they don't have an outlet for cash. So as everyone talks about the economy becoming healthy and on the rebound, the fact is banks are still not lending to these small to medium-sized businesses. Harvard Business Review came out with a report. Since the financial crisis, still bank balance sheets are down 20% for lending to small businesses. So there's a very big opportunity and need out in the marketplace to access capital and be able to get it quickly. You can go to the next one. So real quick, we talked about kind of the industry and the need out there. The benefit to you folks, and many of you, if you utilize this product, understand it, it is a retention tool. In our business, as everyone on this call knows, attrition is the death in the merchant services business. Looking to ways to create a stickier merchant, to keep that merchant tied to you and not walk away in the middle of the night is critical. And having some type of cash component, financing component tied to it is really a great retention tool. The ability to earn substantial income up front from a commission standpoint is available. finally having a cross-sell opportunity that you can make money. There's so many products going to the marketplace that you're trying to cross-sell, and there's really not a great revenue generator for yourself. As margins compress in our space, looking to generate revenue out of your portfolio is critical, and this particular financing will certainly do that for you. You gain the advantage of additional products. Again, the more hooks you have into a merchant, the more difficult it is for them to leave. It's an acquisition tool. And finally, become a trusted advisor. You're providing, merchant services. You also now can come in from a financing perspective, and it's not difficult to go to a merchant and tell them that they have available to have cash provided to them from you. You can go to the next one, Jean-Paul. Going over a few of our products. So we have various products. Some companies may just have one particular one, but we provide small business loans, business or merchant cash advances, which is kind of how this industry spawned about 10 years ago. We also have lines of credit, and we also have what's called an SBA bridge loan. I'll talk very briefly about kind of what these are so we can kind of continue through, but the small business loan really is a short-term payback loan that goes out to 12 months. It's perfect for businesses that are looking for a traditional loan, but they need the money now. They don't have the time to go through the paperwork, the process, the underwriting. They need cash quickly, and this is a very good product for that particular situation. The business cash advance or merchant cash advance, again, it's an unsecured financing, and it's primarily for business that do a lot of their revenue or the majority of their revenue via credit cards. Again, we are purchasing future credit card receipts. We also have a tool, a product that will not require them to switch processors if they don't want to. So again, for customers that do a lot of their sales via credit card, this is a great solution for them to acquire capital in a very quick amount of time. Lines of credit, again, is like a traditional line of credit. They can draw funds when they need. We have very flexible repayment terms, excuse me. And again, the flexibility was what's critical with that. So if you have a person that doesn't need all the cash today, but certainly needs it out over 6-month, 12-month period of time, line of credit may be a certainly option they want to take a look at. And finally, we call it SBA bridge loan product. And what this does, the process to get an SBA loan takes anywhere from 3 months plus. And what we find, these businesses need the cash today while they go through that process. So we do have an instrument that allows them to get cash today as they go through the process of an SBA bridge loan application. So again, we have flexible terms. We fund up to $500,000, as low as $5,000. We can make decisions in 48 hours. And again, you can get your cash to your customer within 5 business days typically. You can go to the next slide. Well, let's talk about the excitement and kind of what we're here really today for is the advantages of the integration that we have with P2. If you're a P2 client, you're using that CRM. It's a tremendous tool to help run your business. What we have done with the help of the folks over at POS Portal is see the value of integrating and be able to leverage the data that you already are entering into the system and quickly turn that data and send it into us and be able to get some type of merchant financing for your customer. So it's easy to use, fast returns, and again, it's always available from an uptime. You get real-time information delivery. So once that application is submitted to us, instantaneously, we're going to return to you, which we're going to show in a little bit, what a max offer would be, so what the available credit would be for that particular client, and it also shows what an estimated commission will be. So you have an idea of how much cash is available for that customer and what you or your rep will get from an earning potential. It eliminates the data redundancy from a data entry standpoint. What we'll show you, literally with the click of a button, data maps over to the plug-in. There may be some additional fields you have to enter, not many, and then you submit it to us and you're already on your way. Again, when you have integration with data, you can start building valuable databases. You may get an offer, the merchant may not be ready for it, but you can save that data for a future opportunity. And again, what we see, you have the ability now to quickly execute, revenue-generating initiatives. I'm not sure any other product out there where you have data that's sitting in your system with really a few clicks of your mouse, you now can turn that into capital, providing capital to your customer who certainly needs it, and then showing you a very healthy commission in return. With that being said, I think the next slide is the beginning of the demonstration.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. So again, we are very excited to show this today, and I think there's actually, of the P2 clients that are on the call today, really the good news for all of you is that there's not any sort of cost to get this turned on. So if you are interested after looking at this solution today, and you again are already working with RapidAdvance, or maybe that's going to be a new relationship that you're forming, the process is really as simple as you letting us know. We would then install what we would call the package, or the managed package for RapidAdvance integration that we built, plug in your credentials from RapidAdvance, and you're essentially off and running. So that's again, the great part about our app portal is that there's this immediate bit of value or added value that our clients are able to benefit from. And with that said, I did see quite a few questions come in. I am going to make sure that we tackle those probably in the next 10, 15 minutes. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time actually within P2, but did want to highlight a few things. So again, this is the app portal real quick. Again, you can go there to learn more about some of the other solutions. So that's just on the POS portal website. But what I did want to do today, and I'm actually going to go back just to the home screen real quick, understanding that there are a few folks on the line that are new to P2. So again, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about all the nitty-gritty details here of the solution, but as Jim did mention, a lot of our ISO partners today, our clients, I mean, this is a solution that essentially runs their business sort of, for some of them, kind of just the front-end sales aspect, just the back office, but many of them it's end-to-end. So from the time a lead comes in from whatever source they have out there, a referral partner, their website, entered by a sales agent, to literally that merchant now being boarded with their single processor or one of multiple, and then all the kind of post-sales, customer service, sort of retention activities that Jim mentioned. P2 is that single system of record for these organizations. Again, it's completely agnostic from a processing standpoint. We're not building the technology for one relationship or another. And again, obviously POS portal, there's no conflict of interest there. We're not in that space. So, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time going into every aspect within P2, but what I did want to pull up here is just an existing merchant, just to kind of give folks an idea. So we have again, this is our demo environment too, so I'm logged in as the admin. I have, kind of full keys to the castle. I can see a lot of information and really do a lot as well. But, so here's just a merchant, and this is an active merchant, one that we've boarded, and, you can see that we have the merchant ID. This is just Golden Sun Tanning. And I'm highlighting this just to kind of show off real quick, what to some extent is possible from just like Jim said, a database or an information perspective. So a lot of our clients will, as many of you know that are on the line today, they're using this for a number of different processes internally. There's ways that the system can help automate those different steps within their own process or their own even sales cycles, again, where they are going to market with multiple solutions, which many ISOs are. So, we've got just traditional CRM functions here, notes, and we have contacts. This is the deal object, and when I mean object, I mean it's basically a record type, if you will, within P2. So it's something that's a bit unique to P2 compared to Salesforce.com, where they kind of have an opportunity record. And the reason I'm highlighting this real quick is just that, many ISOs today, you're likely going to be bringing on a new merchant, and the product or the service, let's just call it the product that you're focused on positioning out the gate is probably going to be processing, right? You're getting them set up. Once they're now processing with you, there might be, like Jim said, some cross-sell opportunity or even some upsell opportunity on something else in the future. So, for our clients today, again, as many of you likely know, you can quickly come into P2 off that merchant's record, and maybe, again, imagine there was just merchant processing here, but I could quickly create something like a new deal, which is basically this new sales opportunity, and really quickly here, and again, I'm relying upon my Wi-Fi here in this conference room I'm in, but essentially select the product or service that, again, would be set up for you guys and your ISO particular. So, I want to highlight this because there might be some other product or service that you're selling in the future, in this case, Cash Advance, that you're now creating a new technically deal for. and you would essentially save that, and that would then take you to a deal record. And the integration right now, we actually have it set up off of the account record, but I think one of the items that we're still exploring and we could likely implement in the future is having this actually operate off of the deal record, and in many cases, well, actually it is here, so operating off of the deal record for, let's just say, that cash advance deal. And again, as many of you know, our clients today, our P2 clients, they can have not only their own unique set of sales and back office stages for a particular product, but that can also uniquely tie to the product or the service that's been selected. So it allows our clients to really automate their sales process, be able to, see reporting really quickly to see, okay, I want to, I want to know about all my deals out there in the application stage or in the proposal stage or whatever stage it is, and have that be for just one product or all of them, and you could leverage things like the forecasted close date, monthly revenue, etc. So again, we will, for all those on the line today that are already using P2, and even if you're not, we're happy to kind of re-explore that piece with you in terms of talking about sales automation, the deal record itself. But again, this is just overall an example of a merchant record within P2 here, where there's a lot of data, activity history, tickets, so customer service specific items. There's ways to tie in your deployment or your terminals into obviously the system, since that's another line of business. So really jumping into what we've built with RapidAdvance, as that is the goal for today. So I have a merchant here, and this is an organization, or a company I should say, a business. This is actually a real business called Bay Lobster's Fish Market, and I believe they're in Ohio. And we just kind of created this record real quick in P2. I think it was yesterday when I did this. So, kind of put a fake merchant ID in there, set some of the statuses appropriately based on the information that we had. But, when we go down, again, we can see this is our salesperson, Ben Davis. He's the account owner. We had the sales manager dropped in. But here's our primary contact at the merchant location. So his name's John Zorni, I believe. And we can kind of go down further and, obviously key in data in any of these fields that's relevant. But really what we're going to look at here is there's already this RapidAdvance lead record, and we'll be highlighting that in a second. But the process really to start this and really start the submission to RapidAdvance is by off of the account record, probably even the deal record, simply creating this or clicking this Create RapidAdvance Lead. And what that's going to do is take the salesperson, whoever's initiating this process, to a screen that looks like the one coming up here shortly. And this would be really the lead form itself. So the whole goal here, so to Jim's point, is most of the data that we've already collected off that record is going to be automatically populated. And then really this form itself, this is sort of let's just call it what it is, an online application that upon submission, upon submitting this lead to RapidAdvance, it's going to be communicating with their systems and really then pushing and getting this merchant set up appropriately on their end. So you don't have to then, after you bring on this merchant and you've now been working with them for 6 months, from just on, let's just say, credit card processing, that being the item that you position there, you don't have to then go back in the future and either do that outside, just go into the RapidAdvance portal or some other system. You can kind of tie that all into your single system of record that you have, which is P2, and again, manage everything from that perspective. And to Jim's point, do it with actually less information having to be keyed in. So the whole idea, again, I'm not going to do it in the interest of time of keying in everything, but really just to kind of go through the sections, you have this business information section. There's different drop downs, so entity type, industry, business category, which is a subset. There's certain fields that are going to be required to be filled in, while other ones like the website URL, location number, that might be optional. Property information, financial information, that's a big one. And obviously, as you can understand, what we're going to be getting from the solution is two things really that are valuable for the salesperson really quickly. One being the max offer amount. So based on a lot of these inputs here, what's the max offer amount? They can even have the salesperson, or I guess it would be the salesperson within P2 doing this, but they can even request an amount. That could be an optional item that's going through this submission. But really, it's the max offer amount and then the estimated commission. And that's kind of set up based on your credentials and how that calculations come to. But really, within financial information, there's kind of some dynamic fields. So if they have open tax liens, we can show those fields. If they don't, obviously we're not going to show those. Estimated FICO, current processor time length. Campaign would likely be ignored in most cases. It's not too relevant for today's example. And then here's your contacts. This is going to be pulled from that record. In many cases, if there are multiple contacts on that merchant record, then we're going to pull in multiple. But you have the option here to say, okay, should we include or not include this contact within our lead submission to RapidAdvance? So really, that's the process. It's, you can imagine much more straightforward than that once you already have a lot of this data collected. In my example today, I haven't really collected a whole lot of information or entered a lot of information, I should say, yesterday since I just created this record. But what we have done, and I'll show you a better example of this, this is what I submitted yesterday, and why I'm not doing this again is that it actually, was a real merchant and it kind of pinged the system there. So what basically happens is once you pull up that form, there's 3 options on the top. I think it said submit lead to RapidAdvance, which would actually send it off to them. There's a button that says save for later, I believe, which would kind of take you back to a screen that looks like this. And then I forget what the other button said. But my point is that this is going to show an example of really what all the data looks like once we've now saved it for later. But I can even then go back into the form. So if I click submit to RapidAdvance again, real quick just to highlight this. Again, this is the submission yesterday. We can see everything's been filled in. We have the federal tax ID. We're kind of tokenizing it or masking some of the numbers, so that's not all being exposed. But yeah, really everything that's required has been filled in. We have eating, drinking places as our industry, restaurant, casual dining as a subset of that. Annual sales volume or sales is 1.5 million. Annual credit card sales 550,000, and yeah, we're including John in the submission. So really, when we did this yesterday, when we submitted this, and we're happy to connect with folks offline to kind of drive through other examples if you have any specific merchants that you want to put through the process. But really, what we end up with is, in this case, and you guys can run the calculations yourself or connect with Jim and do this again, but we didn't request any amount. So the max offer amount that the system or the API had returned based on the integration was $90,000. And in this particular case, the estimated commission off of that was actually $10,800. And we can see in this case that the current status is actually in progress. And we could probably update that status depending on what we receive back. And that's kind of the other piece here is you can actually get statuses back from the system. So imagine that your salesperson had just now submitted it, or maybe submitted it this morning, maybe an hour ago, and you now want to come in here back to that record and just kind of manually pull that status. And I'm actually here as well with Lisa Hargreaves. She's our senior Salesforce architect or guru on this end, and I wanted to ask her, Lisa, if you can kind of talk to the manual get RapidAdvance status button. And I know we talked about internally having that be automated, but is that currently manual, or is there any kind of automation that's occurring there, which is pushed as the updates occur, like every hour or whatnot?
So the way it comes to start with is with this Get RapidAdvance status button, and that's primarily for if you have a merchant on the phone and they want to know where they are with the processing of this cash advance. You can click that button and get the most recent status directly from RapidAdvance. We also have a configurable piece that can be set to run and request updates in statuses for all of your leads from RapidAdvance, and that can be set at whatever timing you'd like it to be through a scheduled job within Salesforce. And so that will run in the background and update the records that have changed in status, and the ones that haven't changed, it'll leave those alone.
Okay. Cool. That makes sense. Hopefully it does for most folks out there. Jim, do you want to comment real quick on just the max offer amount, the estimated commission, even the status kind of coming back, and how that ties into items and, I guess, processes on your end?
Yeah, sure. So the way the API was developed in the integration was we need basic information to be able to generate an offer. As you see on the screen now, a lot of the information submitted this yesterday had already gone through and pinged our system. So what happens is once the information hits our system, it hits what we call our calc. It's a calculator. It takes the data elements that's entered there, and then it renders what we consider a max offer. Now, a lot of times your customer may not need 90,000. They only need 50,000. So what we've done, because there's multiple offers that are available, we've returned to you, whoever's using the system, the max amount of money we could lend this particular client. The estimated commission is based off of that max amount of dollars. So if we end up, the merchant or the customer needs less, that's going to affect the commission. But basically, how it's structured now, we have our standard program with that. It does the calculation for you, and then gives you an idea of what this merchant could borrow and what you would make in return. We see this, if you're not sending the cash advance up front, purely is you have the information, you now can go back to a merchant. We talked about cross-selling or upselling, is being able to go back to a merchant and not talk to them about rates being increased. Now talk to them about you have the ability to offer them cash so they have any need for it. It's a much different conversation you're having with your customer than trying to sell them something other than offering them capital.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Trying to position more added value services and just differentiate yourself out there, I think, is extremely, not only to some extent more and more commonplace, but it's just necessary to just, compete out there today in a super crowded landscape. So I think from an integration standpoint, that's all that we needed to show or we're looking to show today. I mean, again, if you are a P2 client, you're listening to this, you're watching this webinar, you're interested in getting this plugged in to your P2 org or basically your environment that you're using today, let us know. We're happy to have that conversation around what we need to get that going. Like I said, there's not really any cost that we would be charging or any hours involved in kind of taking that on. So if you are not using P2 today and you're kind of curious what the system's all about and how RapidAdvance ties in, again, let us know. If P2 doesn't make sense because you already have a CRM solution and you're just mainly looking for a cash advance partner, again, all of Jim's contact information is going to be shared at the end of this presentation as well. So yeah, please reach out to him. Again, great company to be working with. You guys, like he said, can now provide really a lot of these solutions to your merchants, not just kind of one option, but yet multiple options that you're now able to get to market with. So I don't know, Jim, was there anything else that we needed to show from an integration standpoint? I think that was it.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it, everything we needed to show from that standpoint. Again, if you're using us, and you're not using the P2 integration now, and you're interested, that's fantastic. If you're looking for our finance company, and we certainly would love to speak with you. And I've got people's information here, but there's my contact information. So please reach out as well. We will connect and talk about the different products and programs that we have. And also, again, if you're a P2 user, being able to activate the plug-in and start utilizing the integrated solution as well.
Yeah, cool. So again, we're going to open it up for questions now. We have a few that have come in, so I'm just going to get it going here. And the first one's from Jeff. He says, is there a separate ISO application to be a reseller for Rapid's cash advance program?
Yeah, we don't call it an ISO application, but yes, you would come on board with us as a reseller partner. It would be very similar to any type of your ISO, I guess, agreements that you have with maybe your processor. So, yeah, you would sign up with us. You would be considered a partner, and we would set you up with a program, and you're ready to go.
Okay. Another question, will you take out existing client loans with other cash advance companies?
We will. Yeah, so we don't stack, and this is really to the person that just asked that question. But we certainly will buy out. We've bought out not just one, maybe multiple positions. It really depends how much, and it's really kind of a sidebar conversation, but it depends on how much it needs to be bought out and kind of what the advance amount is.
Okay. We got a question. We are using P2 today. What does the timeline look like for getting the RapidAdvance integration installed? So the answer there, again, is really just to contact us. It should be pretty quick. There's probably a few last-minute things that we're doing with the package itself, but once that's complete, which should be this week, we can make it available really as quick as we can, which, again, as long as you have credentials, you're set up with RapidAdvance. It should be a pretty quick and overall painless process. So thanks for that question. Another question for the RapidAdvance folks. Under your cash advance program, does the sales commission reduce the net to client?
No.
Okay. How is document submission handled? The fields included seem to be informational only. Is there anywhere to upload documents? That's a question from Dan.
Who is that to?
I think it's probably just for both of us. So I don't know, Lisa,
Yeah.
if you want to comment on that. I know we had that thread with the team there about attachments kind of being included in a future, I guess, version of this.
So right now the integration primarily is to submit the leads to RapidAdvance, and since you'll already have a relationship directly with RapidAdvance, you would log into your portal with them to do any additional information gathering after the initial kind of lead information.
Yeah, and I mean, really, the short answer there, Dan, is that that's something today that is not in the package, but it's something we talked about internally. It's something that P2 and POS Portal, we have the ability to push that over to RapidAdvance. So we're working with them to just have their APIs allow that to be brought in. So that could very well be in a future release. But yeah, to Lisa's point, right now, and I don't know if it actually was being displayed in that example, but there's typically a link that goes to your RapidAdvance portal. So it kind of makes the process of getting to that portal a bit easier. That's typically there within P2 as well. So yeah, to her point, you would then go to your portal if there were then any future documents that needed to be uploaded. But yeah, I think it totally makes sense that in the next release of this, we should have the ability to also pass over the attachments.
Absolutely.
So it looks like the questions have slowed down. I know we're about 15 minutes ahead of schedule, so that's good. But like I said, if there are any questions, POS Portal, P2, RapidAdvance related, let us know. Otherwise, we'll probably give it about another minute and then wrap up the event today.
The one thing I just want to recommend, she's talking about credentials. So obviously to utilize the integration, you need to be set up as a partner with us, but you need to provide your credentials to the POS Portal folks. Now, John Paul, do they enter the credentials themselves, or do they actually provide that to you?
So there is a configuration record similar to some of our other app portal packages that asks for the username and password, and the ISO can enter that themselves. We could also enter it for them as we're getting the configuration set up, but ultimately the ISO will manage the credential information themselves.
Yep. So I think unless there are no other questions, we're likely going to wrap up on that sort of comment. And again, we have recorded this event. We will make sure everyone that's been on the call today receives a copy of it. We'll get it uploaded probably to our YouTube channel. You guys can share that internally amongst your colleagues and whatnot. If you have any questions for Jim, there's all of his contact information. I'll make sure that, again, he knows who was on the event as well today, so you may be hearing from him directly possibly. If you have any questions for myself, P2 related, even POS Portal related, please reach out to me. And outside of that, I think both Jim and I really appreciate everyone joining us today, Lisa as well. And yeah, we're excited to hear from folks going forward.
Yes, thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with everyone.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye-bye.